Wonderful. I'll share the screen here as well. Okay, thank you so much. We'll start with the prayer. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yele Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarudesya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukum Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurundi Natarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Just will connect this also so we can hear you well as well. So just put this in. Wonderful. Thank you. You can see my screen. Wonderful. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajrishyo Viduhu Sakalane Hamahatta Yogo Nasta Parantapa. Any volunteer for translation?
This supreme science was thus received through the chain of the 15 succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore science as it is appears to be lost.
Very nice. Thank you. So we started chapter 4 last week. We just covered first verse, which is we covered the summary. So why is transcendental knowledge again given to Arjuna is what is being explained in these few verses. So what we see in the next slide, which is specifically talking about Srila Prabhupada writing in the purport, as soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. So every yuga, Krishna in his incarnation or he himself appears to establish dharma, because the time is so powerful, and people who, even if the knowledge is given to the right person, the the tendency is to actually add or subtract, and that is what the problem is. I was giving an interview and he says, what is the problem when you take a project from a client and then deliver it? I'm like, the dilution of information. And he was laughing. And that is true, because when you collect the information, there is so much dilution happens. and when you deliver something, it may not be as per the client expectation, and that is one of the biggest problems. So this is what the problem statement. So Lord declared that the purpose of Gita appeared to be lost when he detected that disciplic succession was broken. So what you see on the right hand side of this, you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu on the topmost picture. And then there are six Goswamis. You also see them on the, when you see the altar, there is like Guru Parampara is there and six this. And then Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, you will see them on the altar. Today you focus that. And then you see my mouse also? No. Yeah. So you see Bhakti Vinod Thakur also. You see Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. This is Srila Prabhupada's Guru and this is Srila Prabhupada. This is very important. Not anyone and anyone can stand up saying that I am a Guru. He has to have a Guru who comes in a disciplic succession. And today in India or in anywhere, but mostly in India, you see a lot of people just stand up saying that I am a Guru and following him. Don't want to take the names here. So the first question has to be asked is, who is your Guru? What is your qualification? Right? This is very important because today in the world where the dilution of information or misidentity happens so much, even on the name, people say, oh, show me driving lessons. Or even if you go for an interview, they ask you to show the driving license in the picture first. Are you the same person? So here it is very important whom we are listening, because we are giving our life to that person, thinking that he is going to give me the spiritual knowledge. How about if he takes me away from God? I have no idea. So that's why disciplic succession is very important. So Ramanujacharya, he says, because of long lapse of time and because of the dullness of intellect of those who heard it, it has been almost lost. Right? And then he just writes the words behind it. And this is very important, that Krishna is specifically coming to reestablish whatever was spoken in Bhagavad Gita before. So if I go to the next slide, which is specifically talking about the mundane scholars, they have a different interpretation of Bhagavad Gita. It's like the real, what is that saying? The real taste of the pudding is it's in taste. What is that? I forgot the real line like that.
Is in the pudding, they said. The real
Something like that. So
pudding.
something related to that, but which specifically, if I have to tell the meaning, is I may describe something, but until you taste it, you can't actually understand how it would be, right? Similar way, what you see on the right hand side of picture, what you see, the honeybees are trying.
Proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Okay, perfect, correct. Not describing just the ingredients and all that stuff. Thank you for bringing that up. So here, honeybee are trying to taste the honey from outside the bottle, which means the taste will never come, right? Similar thing is, so which means these scholars, they may try to understand Bhagavad Gita from external perspective and try to drive meaning, which is as good as the bee licking the honey outside the bottle, right? So devise all type of interpretation according to personal whims, not according to the authorized disciplic succession. Almost all the current interpretations are like that. Do not accept the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. There are people who wrote Bhagavad Gita who feel Krishna is not God. This is, or Pandavas and Kauravas never existed. It just they wanted to establish how one should be um, performing good and not evil. To set up that example, there is a mythology created about it. So even I don't know if that exists today, but few years back when I was just watching a movie, they talk about there was a mythological episode which happened in. What is mythological? It's a reality. You see, Dwarka existed, even they found it under the sea, right? Same way Kurukshetra exists today, not that it's not a place today. So it existed. So what they say is they do not accept in the supreme personality of Godhead. What's the point of understanding that? Or similar way, Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is more than 1 lakh verses, and that is 1 lakh verses on the planet we live in. If you go to higher planet, it is 2 lakh verse. And when you go to Brahma Loka, Mahabharata is 4 lakh verses. Now one may say,
2 lakhs and now.
so it's condensed, which means it's much more elaborated in heavenly planet than how it is Mahabharata put in here. Much more details mentioned there, and here it is a condensed version here. That is what I meant to say here, which means there is much more detail available because people have that ability to remember everything. Like we were just talking the other day, Ganesh ji was writing. Now, how long can we write? This is whole Srimad Bhagavatam. If you see Srimad Bhagavatam, it's 12 cantos. Some of the cantos are 4 books, so around 18 books. These thick books, 18 books. It just this version. So imagine Ganesh ji wrote. Of course, he did not write in Kali Yuga. So it is much more bigger than what Srimad Bhagavatam we talk about, right? And they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. And what is the spirit behind it? I want to be famous. Bhagavad Gita has only one principle, which has to be crystal clearly understood: to glorify Krishna and how he delivered Arjuna. Everything else is actually for us to come to that platform. But if I read a Bhagavad Gita which is talking about how to become a great leader, how to become this, how to become this, that is not purpose of Bhagavad Gita. That is a side product. Like for an example, when you make a ghee out of the thick malai which comes out of the milk, the butter is a byproduct, right? Butter comes out of it, and from butter then further the ghee is formed. So whenever Bhagavad Gita, its purpose is simply to understand how to surrender to Krishna and how to become a disciple like Arjuna, right? And all this thing, which is how to live in this world and how to leave this world, is part of Bhagavad Gita. You're with me so far, right? So if I move to the next slide, which is specifically talking about people who are, when we talk about demons here, we are not talking about, who had wings, or who has some kind of, thorns on his body, or horns. So that's not the point. It is about what is the motive behind it. So demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of Supreme. This is very prevalent in Western countries, where you see people, even from a Hinduism perspective, the idea is that I want to go to God to fulfill my desire, and that is a purpose. Sorry, just got distracted with some thought, but not worth sharing it here. So the idea is, you see, there was one demon. His name was Basmasur. He did a lot of tapasya, like similar like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu. He did that tapasya, and Lord Shiva came and he asked, "What is the boon you are looking for?" I think I shared it, but it's worth in this connection. He said, "Give me the boon, whomever who my hand, if I touch on anybody's head, he should be destroyed immediately." Lord Shiva says, "Okay, tathastu." Now he had an ill intention. What was his intention? He wanted to enjoy Parvati. Now, who is the problem maker here for him? It's Lord Shiva. So he started chasing Lord Shiva to actually put his hand on Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva himself gave the benediction. So he started running. So then he reached to Lord Vishnu. "Please save me." What did Lord Vishnu did? He disguised himself as a Brahmana, and this Bhasmasur was coming. And he said, "Where are you heading towards?" He said, "You know what? I got a boon that on whomever's head I just put my hand, that guy is destroyed." So he said, "Who gave you that boon?" He said, "Lord Shiva." So this Brahmana, who is Lord Vishnu himself in a disguise, he started laughing. Do you really believe that Lord Shiva will do is Shambhu. He's very simple hearted. Sometimes he may say things, but that may not manifest. "Have you ever tried it?" He said, "I didn't try it." "Are you sure this works?" "Maybe, because Lord Shiva, okay, you should try it out first and touch your head, touch your hand on his head." Now, if you see, it seems like a stupid thing, right? Even any of us would not even do, "Hey, why should I touch? Let me touch on your head. Why should I touch on my head?" But that's how Lord Vishnu works. Lord Vishnu is so powerful, seeing his beauty, and when he speaks something, everyone just forgets it. Same aspect to on this principle. So devatas, the demons and the gods, they are having a fight. They are doing a samudra manthan. They are churning the ocean. And who told them to do the churning of ocean? Because devatas, or the gods, they lost their property, they lost everything, so they approached Lord Vishnu. So he said, "You align demons and then you churn the ocean, and from that the nectar will come. When you drink that nectar, you will become inconquerable." So you do that. So they, and so many things came out of it. I don't want to get into that. There may be another 2 hour class on that. But then after that, when he got that, what happened? The nectar, the demons took away. Now devatas were, hey, we worked so hard to get this nectar, now they took away. So what happened? Lord Vishnu came as Mohini Murti, right? Lord Vishnu, we all know about that past time, but Lord Vishnu appeared as a Mohini Murti and she distracted the devatas. She distracted the demons. And demons thought they would not believe on anyone. But she said, I will give you the nectar equally. Why don't you give it to me? And they were so mesmerized by her beauty, they gave that nectar to Lord Vishnu, Mohini Murti. And what did she do? She gave that nectar to Devatas. And the demons were thinking, oh no, she's coming to us and give it to us. Until they realized the whole nectar is finished and she gave it to Devatas. And they again fought with Danavs or the demons and they won it. Similar thing which happened here, Lord Vishnu said, saying that, why don't you apply that? And he put his head and he immediately died. And this is an important point. So, people do not believe in God because they simply want to enjoy the property of Supreme. So, what was this person's motive? He didn't want to actually do something good out of that. His intention was, I want to enjoy Parvati. And this is very important. When you try to enjoy the energy of God without considering energetic, that creates a problem for you. And that's the most important part which people forget it. It says, and if we already know, Lakshmi, which is in English now we call it as money, but Lakshmi is different. She's Chanchal. Chanchal means what? She doesn't stay at one place. Where is Lakshmi? Where Lord Vishnu is there. What people want today is they want Lakshmi, they want money, but they don't want Lord Vishnu. And that is a problem. The same money brings the exploitation, and that same money brings the destruction of such people. And you see so many rich people. I was just talking to my daughter yesterday for a good period of time. I'm like, if we think the reality, or if we think who are successful in this material, if we count based on money, we are definitely missing something here. Because that money is flickering, it will go away. But what people need is a character. And that's the point. So the attempt is made to fulfill the great want of the edition of Gita in English as it is received by the Parampara. Bhagavad Gita is accepted as it is. It's a great boon to have it for humanity. But if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculation, it is simply waste of time. Because ultimately, what is a real problem of life? Real problem of life is in the cycle of birth and death. Everything in between is, see, the choices we make. And if these choices of studying Bhagavad Gita is only for the purpose of, I want to be a scholar or I want to showcase how much I have, then we are still stuck between the cycle of birth and death, isn't it? So that is an important part which is being brought in here. And what that who all came to re-establish religion, which means now we have to understand where is this parampara coming from. So sometimes the Supreme Lord himself in his avatar forms as a scripturally authorized incarnation, manifests as incarnation. So Krishna or his incarnation can come, or Krishna empowers someone to come, which is important. Those are called a Shaktavesha avatar. Like Parshuram. Parshuram, though it is described as one of the 10th incarnation, but he is the Jiva Tattva. So there are two. One is the Ishvara Tattva, second is the Jiva Tattva. We are all Jiva Tattva. But when Jiva Tattva are empowered by God, they can behave like God, but they are not God. You're understanding my point? Because they are empowered by God. So this is what is being. So one part which is mentioned is the Lord himself appears as God to give the message. Like when we talk about other South Indian this thing, for an example, we're talking about Ramanujacharya, or we were just talking about Madhavacharya. Madhavacharya is a very important personality. Now, what is his contribution? He is an incarnation of Vayu, he is an incarnation of Hanuman, and he is incarnation of Bhima. So he is an empowered personality to spread the message, and Madhvacharya contributed so much. That's why our sampradaya is Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya Sampradaya. So there are these three sampradaya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he did, he derived the essence of all these three systems and gave it in one. And that is what the sampradaya we follow. So here, at other times, the great souls from the higher realms with exceptional compassion descends. They never modify the intrinsic meaning of the eternal principles. nor do they change the essential characteristics of these eternal principles, but they make innovation in their preaching and how they distribute them according to time and circumstance. This line is very important. Srila Prabhupada that before that he came where the hippies era was really on top. So Srila Prabhupada started actually transforming people. So one time he was invited into a very far away remote place. And when Srila Prabhupada came there, not anyone, nobody was there. Srila Prabhupada started singing Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada started singing Hare Krishna. After a few minutes, when he opened his eyes, he saw naked people in the forest. And he was like, what are they doing? So the disciple said, Srila Prabhupada, they feel it's so light to be just without the clothes. So Srila Prabhupada, what did he say? He said very interestingly. He said, isn't it wonderful to actually be without the clothes? They said, yeah, Swamiji. So this body is like a cloth and our soul is covered with those cloths. When the soul is free from that burden, then you can experience the real joy. They accepted and started joining Krishna consciousness. You can imagine, or another person who was asked, Srila Prabhupada, what does the spiritual world look like? Now this guy was a hippie. For him, what is it? It's drugs and everything. So he asked Srila Prabhupada, you are talking about spiritual world. How does the spiritual world look like? Guess what was Srila Prabhupada's answer? Srila Prabhupada said, spiritual world is like room filled with LSD. Now this is horrible answer. But based on that person's position, he can never understand the spiritual world. So now he understood, yeah, spiritual world means something sublime. For him, sublime is LSD. So he can connect only with that. So with that motive, he can come and practice bhakti. Another this is there. So one time, Srila Prabhupada took his few disciples to Vrindavan. And there was one guy who just newly joined, but he happened to join them and he went to Vrindavan. And he asked Srila Prabhupada a question. Srila Prabhupada, if someone comes to Vrindavan and he eats meat, what will be his next birth? Srila Prabhupada said he'll become a dog in Vrindavan. Second, Srila Prabhupada, if someone goes near Yamuna and started smoking ganja, what will be? I forgot what was the next, but Srila Prabhupada said. The third question he asked, Srila Prabhupada, if someone comes to Vrindavan and have illicit sex, what will be his destination? Srila Prabhupada said that person will become a tree. And then he started asking something else. Srila Prabhupada said, you are in Vrindavan, but your mind is still in LA. Because he came from LA. So he was he cannot visualize that. Similar thing, Mrigrari, Narada Muni, he asked him to chant the Ramanomi is just coming this week only. He asked him to chant the name of Ram. But he couldn't chant the name of Ram. So what Narada Muni said, you say Mara. Hindi meaning of Mara means you are dead. So you don't tell anyone that. We said don't even speak inauspicious words. So they don't. But what did Narada Muni give him? You chant Mara. And that eventually became Ram for him. Devotees who are empowered like Narada Muni. He can actually transform such people who can actually do that. Even Ravana or Kamsa, they had faith on Narada Muni. They knew he is on the other side. But they had so much faith on Narada Muni. Because he could get the buy-in even from those people, right? So that's an important. Any questions so far? Can you move to the next verse? Okay. So we are on 4.3. Sa evaya maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha. Thank you. Yoga prokta puratanaha. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Rahasyam hi etat uttamam. Volunteer, please, for translation.
That very ancient science of the relationship should be to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental meaning of this science.
When you have a problem When you have something pinching, you don't go and publicly just pet someone and you just tell them. You identify someone who is very close to your heart and you want to talk to that person. Hey, you know what, I'm going through this problem which is just inner to me. So here, why what is Krishna saying? Why am I telling why am I speaking Bhagavad Gita to you? Why not others? Because you are my friend and you are my devotee. This is a very good qualification for a person to understand Bhagavad Gita. A person who does not accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, that he is the Bhagwan, he will never understand Bhagavad Gita. For an example, this is one very nice example which Gaur Gopal Prabhu shares that very often. He says, one time there was a foreigner who actually went to India. This is a real story. And then she got down from the flight. Like in India, some places you don't directly get out of the aeroplane. They take you through the bus or something like that, right? Correct. Bus or walk, depends. So this lady, she got down from the bus and she entered in the bus. And there was a Bollywood actor. So everyone was like, just can you give an autograph? Can you give an? So this lady was just confused because she never knew this person because she was a foreigner. And the foreigner lady started thinking what's going on until one person came and told her, hey, this person this is his credential, and this is these many movies he have released, and this is how his bank balance look like. And she was like, can I get the autograph? Have a credibility to understand who this person is. If the person doesn't even know about that person, irrelevant of, like, for an example, a person who is, say for an example, there was one I was seeing one of the video where one of the very top class player, soccer player, he disguised himself and he was playing the soccer on the New York street. People thought he's a begging, he just put a ball.
I think it's
Huh.
famous guitarist or violinist.
I forgot.
Or a cello player, I think.
Correct,
At
correct.
New York Sub.
You saw that, right? Did you see that, right? So everyone was thinking, what is he, guys? Until one guy started playing and then removed his this thing, and then, oh, this is the same player. Why did I bring it to this point? Let's talk about the substance here. Until I know who's speaking to me, what is his credential, I will never take it seriously. Yes, a lot of times when we give the class, no, there is another person who gives the introduction about the other person. Why the introduction of other person? And this is important. And they mention about the material qualification. Reality on spiritual world is, or on spiritual realities, there is no material qualification needed. But why do we talk about material qualification? Because if I know, hey, this person brings that, now I started, hey, he's not an ordinary person. He has certain credentials. And that's what Krishna is telling here. What is Krishna telling here? Arjuna, why am I telling this Bhagavad Gita to you? Because you are my friend and you are my devotee. Arjuna accepted Krishna. But now Krishna is telling what is the qualification needed on the other side also to understand Bhagavad Gita. You're with me so far? Can we move to the next slide talking about the purport, especially reasons for speaking to this knowledge to Arjuna? Because he is devotee and a friend. It is most secret, cannot be told to inferior persons because they will never understand that aspect, right? And then Ramanujacharya, he writes, because it is the most mysterious knowledge declared in the Vedanta, it cannot be known or taught by anyone other than myself. I'll tell you one statement which is quoted in Ramayana. In Ramayana, when Bharat comes in, he comes back home when Dashrath is dead. So he is being called because Lord Ram is in the forest. So someone has to do the final rites for Dashrath. So Bharat is being called, and Bharat was at that time at Kaikaidesh, which means his mother's father's place, which means his grandfather, right? Yeah, grandfather is that right? Yeah. So he was there. So he was called upon. When he came in, he saw the whole Ayodhya was really sad because Dashrath is already dead. So he wasn't understanding. And when he came to the palace, he saw very weird omens, thinking that why everyone is crying. So he came to Kaikai's palace. And Kaikai was the only one who was completely weird compared to other people. Everyone was distressed, but she was like combing her hair in the mirror and all, whatever. So he was bewildered. You know what had happened, mother? What she said is, Your father, she used a very derogatory term for her father, that he is dead. So Bharat loved his father, so he was shocked to hear that. And after that, what she says, he died in the separation of Lord Ram and Sita. Okay, so where is Ram and Sita? He asked. Oh, I sent them to forest to make you a king. He was shocked to hear that because that was not his internal desire. So, beautiful point. He said, even from the Kaikai Desh, you are there. You are there from Kaikai Desh because she came from that side. How can you send Lord Ram to the forest? That's a statement written. Now, how do you understand the statement? There is a deeper meaning there. What is the deeper meaning? What is the meaning? Means in that world, in this the area, there are a lot, and the peacocks make the noise which is related to kai 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 kai, like they sing like that. And then what is now one way? Okay, so what is the connection with this statement? Very interesting secret about the first male, the peacock, whichever the first male peacock is born, he has a natural crown on his head. You're with me so far? Not the rest of the only the first son naturally had a this thing. So what did he say? Coming back to now this point, what is the meaning he actually wanted to say? How could you send Lord Ram to the forest, coming from Kaikai Desh, which has natural tendency? The first. So here Ram is the eldest brother. He should be the king. How did you send him to the forest? You understand the deeper meaning of that aspect? This is where the crux lies. When we read Bhagavad Gita just on the surface level, we can never understand the intricate meaning of that part. One has to actually go into the substance and see the words between the lines, which is very hard. So here, because it is the most mysterious knowledge declared in Veda, it cannot be known or taught by anyone other than myself. So Krishna is personally coming to give this knowledge to Arjuna, right? And if I go to the next slide, which is text 44, text verse number 4, any questions so far? Or Mataji, you're good?
Yeah.
Can we move to 4? Arjuna vacha. दिख रहा ना? Okay. अपरम भवतो जन्मा परम जन्मा विवस्वतः कथम एताद्विजानीयाम् त्वम अदौ प्रोक्तवन इति. Translation, please.
Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him?
This is an interesting question. So what did Arjuna's Krishna told to Arjuna that I gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan. And if you remember, we also talked about Brahma's life. And we also talked about how long is Vivaswan. Now when Krishna is speaking this Bhagavad Gita, how old is he? 125. So he's 125-year-old based on our mundane calculation. And how much is Vivaswan? Crores of years back. So the question may arise, for an example, I tell my father, Dad, I taught you 50 years back. My age is 30. You will start laughing, right? Am I making sense? So here, what is Arjuna asking? My dear Lord, you're 125. Whatever is Arjuna says, sorry, I do not know that. Then how can you give that knowledge to this thing? Are you bluffing yourself or what is going on here? Now Arjuna had a faith. It's not that Arjuna did not have a faith, but Arjuna is asking this question for a certain purpose. And that's what Srila Prabhupada writes. So this is a mix of transcendental knowledge of 4th verse and 5th verse. So what you see on the 4th side, which is left, so Arjuna had a doubt about Krishna, that how Krishna instructed sun god who is senior by birth, crores of years before Krishna has even appeared here, right? Now this is the acharyas clarify on that part, that Arjuna had no doubt in Krishna's word because he is the devotee. Let's connect the previous verse and this verse now. What is Krishna saying? I am giving this knowledge because you are my friend and devotee. A friend knows the heart of his friend. And specifically in this case, we are talking about Arjuna, whose one of the name is Gudakesha, who conquered sleep, who conquered ignorance. So he is not an ignorance like any of us may understand. Right? So what is happening here? Arjuna is not disturbed about it. So he already knows about that Krishna is. Now, this is an important aspect which I'm trying to bring in. And he has put forward his question to clarify doubts of other people who have the tendency to misinterpret information. Because based on, if I don't read the words between the lines, the maybe he's dreaming or he's hallucinating. No, this is being clarified. And Krishna is going to speak just verse after that. And Lord Krishna describes himself in the form of transcendental knowledge. And what we are going to see in fifth verse, Supreme Personality, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He appeared as son of Devaki, never affected by three modes of material nature, and does not change his body. Now, what is our problem? Today I am correct. Today I'm ABC, right? I have a certain period, which is I have a, sorry to put it that way, but I have a manufacturing date and I have an expiry date. I have a birth date and I have my last date, which means I am leasing whatever I'm doing now. A lease, right? Only difference is that this body, when I'm leasing, I cannot return it back, right? Because it is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. It is ephemeral, right? Which means after I die, this goes back into earth, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So I am leasing. But Krishna's body is not like that. For an example, the sun is there. Right now, what is the time? It's 4:39 here. What's the time in India right? Around 2 o'clock? Yeah, around 2 o'clock, right? Which is whatever, two and a half hour difference, right? Is it night or morning there? It is night, right? There is no sun there. Does it mean the sun is dead there? You're with me so far? Or in couple of hours, India, but sun will not be here. Does it mean the sun is dead here? Are you getting my point? Similarly, Lord Krishna appears and disappears. He is not taking a birth and death. That's why whenever certain days like Janmashtami and Ramanavami is there, we don't use the word. Ideally, we shouldn't, just for understanding we use because we can't understand anything. We don't say it's birthday today. Are you with me so far? We say it's appearance day today. There is a difference between a birthday and appearance day. He appears and disappears. He doesn't take a birth and die. You're with me so far, right? So when Krishna leaves this world, we don't say he died. It is an important aspect. So this is very important. And who is Supreme Lord Krishna? We will see that. And what is the difference between the living entity, like you mentioned about? So living entity, spirit soul changes the body. And when we change our body, how many of us remembered our previous lives? Very few, very few. And they are counted on finger who actually remembers their previous life. Right? But Krishna is not like that. And we also see, I think last week only I gave an example about Bharat Maharaj. He remembered his previous life. So he was a special person who remembered his life. But Krishna remembers not only his life, he remembers all of our previous lives. And I gave that example last week. When you weave something, do you remember that example I gave? Did I give this example weaving here or no? Okay. So when you weave, right? If you see from the down, what do you see? Right? So sorry, I have multiple classes. I want to. What Krishna sees the timeline, past, present, future, and not just this but 100, but before, and just 100 is the hypothetical number. Infinity here and infinity here. He knows this. What is going to come on my hand? He has complete idea about it, but we have no idea about that part. And that is Arjuna is going to clarify, Krishna is going to clarify on this. So if I move to the next slide, what is happening is, how could Arjuna not believe Krishna's words? Even though he is a devotee, because now if we connect back to the previous verse, Krishna is telling, I'm giving this knowledge because you are a devotee. He is inquiring for the ignorant who do not believe in Krishna. It is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being subject to the modes of material nature. I'll give you an example. I think I shared it before, but worth talking about it. Lord Ram, Ramanavami is coming, so we should try to meditate on his beautiful Leelas. Lord Ram, after he lose Mother Sita, I think I shared, but worth again talking about it. He was asking the trees, he was asking animals, have you seen Sita? Have you seen Sita? He was crying. And Mother Parvati was there in Kailash. And she knew her husband, Lord Shiva, chants the name of Lord Ram. She said, my dear Lord, whose name are you chanting? Lord Ram. I see him crying for his wife. Does any mortal soul cries when he just loses his wife or husband? Then you're Lord Shiva smile. Never ever misinterpret Lord Ram. But she wanted to test. So she came down, disguised herself in the form of Mother Sita. Did I tell this before? No. So she disguised herself as Mother Sita. She came in front of Lord Ram. What was Lord Ram's statement? Mother Parvati, where is Lord Shiva? Here.
He could see the real one.
Very beautiful. Coming back to this line. An atheist may come to know about this one, who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being subject to the mode of material. They think, hey, this is an ordinary living being. So many mistakes have been in Lord Brahma. I like this. This is a very important statement to even elaborate more. Lord Brahma, he saw Agasur. Agasur was 15-20 miles or something long. Snake. He came to kill Krishna. Krishna killed him. Brahma got to know and he saw Agasur. He knew Agasur because that guy is a very powerful Rakshasa. Kamsa sent him to kill to Krishna. And he sees Agasur is dead. And he gets to hear, oh, this boy. Krishna was like hardly 5-7 year boy. He killed him. 5-year boy, how can he kill Agasur? He gets to know he's the same boy who killed Putana also. Putana is a sister of Agasur. Really? He didn't believe. So he said, okay, I want to test him. Who is Brahma? We talked about it. We talked about how much is Brahma's life, if you remember the last week. Do not think, I'm not asking the number, but an example I gave. One breath of Lord Vishnu is the entire life of Lord Brahma. I don't know how many breaths I've passed or inhaled while I'm talking just this line. That is the life of Brahma. And he wants to test Lord Krishna. He stole Krishna's gopas and put them in the cloud. Now again coming back, because Krishna appeared in the material world. Lord Brahma's 1 minute is 1 year for us, right? So 1 year passed. What Krishna did, when it's time to go back for Krishna, and Krishna was worried because he loves his Vrajavasis. Now the mother will be worried, the cows will be worried, where are the calves? He transformed, he created their form exactly like them they were. So it's Krishna in the form of Gopas as well as calves. They came back. And every Vrajavasi was seeing Krishna, and they had as much love they had for Krishna with their children. They were puzzled. Why is that? The cow, when she will see the calf, the milk start flowing there only. So nobody noticed. 1 year passed. Balramji, because Balramji did not go that day when Krishna went to the forest, because that was Balramji's birthday. So 1 year passed. Balramji said, hey, something mysterious going on here. And he approached Krishna. What had happened? Krishna told him, Brahmaji stole. So after his 1 minute, Brahmaji came. Krishna is eating with his gopas, with the calves. Brahmaji is bewildered. Who is this guy? I just stole his calves. I stole his gopas. Where is he? He goes to the clouds. He sees them there. What is going on? And immediately, all these gopas transform themselves into Lord Vishnu. Now, the most important part. At that time, what he sees other than these Lord Vishnus, there are Brahmas who has, our Brahma, the world or the yuga we live in, has 4 heads. Some Brahmas had 8 heads, some 16, some 32, some 64. It goes by 8. Based on the size of the universe, those many heads Brahma has. Which means our universe is the smallest universe, and Brahmaji has 4 heads. And he was bewildered. Hey, what am I seeing? I'm seeing myself reflected there. But I have 4 heads. These guys have 8, 16, 32. And then he understood he is not an ordinary boy. He's a supreme personality of God. Even Mother Parvati cannot understand Lord Ram. Here Brahmaji, who has 4 heads, cannot understand. How will we understand Krishna? It's very, very deep actually. Don't want to go too much into that. So an atheist may come to know about the superhuman nature of God in this way. We can know, you know what, Krishna lifted Govardhan Parvat. Lift Govardhan Parvat. I will tell you, what is the biggest item you can carry on Pinky? Pretty much none. Pretty much none. Especially to Govardhan Hill on a pinky finger for 7 nights without even cribbing that, oh, this is a mountain. We don't have to actually have extra brain to run through to understand he is a supreme personality of God. This is very important to understand that aspect. Krishna appeared in human form and was born from Devaki. And I gave this example. He appeared as a human. Krishna did not look like, he showed his universal form to Duryodhan. We know about that. He showed universal form in this Bhagavad Gita itself while speaking. That I am the source of everything. But he came as a human. He didn't expand himself. When Mother Yashoda asked him to open his mouth, you know about that pastime. He showed the whole universe within his mouth, but he didn't expand himself. It is inconceivable. How can a small mouth have a universe? In that universe, she sees the whole universe, she sees all the planets, she sees Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, she sees herself and sees Krishna. And she is seeing in the mouth of Krishna. And she was bewildered and fainted there. It's beautiful. This is not mythology. So if not omniscient, if he was born, he cannot be eternal. So Arjuna put this question for Krishna himself to answer rather than being depicted and distorted by the demons. I want to hear from you, Krishna. You tell me, how did you give this knowledge to Sun God? I just don't want to go by theoretical. You said I will believe. No, I want to ask this so that they don't have any confusion around it. So devotee knows Krishna's nature perfectly. Srila Prabhupada writes, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the supreme personality of God at the fountainhead of everything, which is there in Bhagavad Gita 10, 12, 13. What does it say? Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Right? This is a very beautiful, that he is an eternal Purusha. Who all we are Prakriti. One good part which I want to clarify, there are no Purushas, which means there is no male other than Krishna. Everyone is a female, which is an important aspect. Krishna can be the only Purusha. And this is an important part. One time, Markandeya Rishi, it's there in Srimad Bhagavatam. There was the whole annihilation happening now, and Markandeya Rishi is there. And Markandeya Rishi, what he sees, did I share that last time how the destruction happens?
Destruction of what?
The whole everything is destroyed. Did I share about thousands of years it just fire,
Fire, then gold, water.
water, right? So now this is annihilation is happening. Mark, there are certain personalities who do not die. They are carry forwarded to Satya Yuga. After Kali Yuga, they will move to Satya Yuga. They don't have to leave the body. So Markandeya Rishi, saw in this whole water, he saw a leaf. In that leaf, he saw a beautiful blue boy, small baby. And he was looking at him so beautiful. He asked him a question. Oh, beautiful boy, who you are? Krishna smiled. To have a smile, he opened his mouth. Markandeya Rishi went in his mouth. He entered in his mouth. He saw whole Brahmanda, not universe, cosmic manifestation. And in that cosmic manifestation, he saw himself. And then he was amazed, and Krishna yawned, and he came out, and he offered prayers to Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna gave him that benediction that he'll be able to see that beautiful form of Lord Krishna. When you see Krishna's pastimes are so inconceivable and at the same time so faith-giving, then he is the supreme personality. There is no zero doubt about it. And this is a beautiful aspect which it is mentioned here, Param Brahma Param Dhama. And references Arjuna had heard repeatedly from Bhishma and others during the Rajsuya sacrifice. Rajsuya Yagya happens before the Mahabharat war happened. In fact, Rajsuya Yagya is the place where Draupadi laughs at Duryodhan because it was the floor. So Duryodhana, when he was walking, he thought it's a water, but it wasn't a water, so he fell off, and Draupadi laughed at him. This is Indraprastha. And how did Indraprastha came into the picture? Lord Krishna ordered Mayavi demon to build that for Pandavas. It's a long story. Mahabharata is beautiful. Must read. No other thing to actually, if materially one have to read. Beautiful. And that is the time he actually developed envy towards Draupadi. And the whole war happened. So this is happening in Rajsuya Yagya. In Rajsuya Yagya, they were thinking who should be worshipped, because there has to be certain personality who should be worshipped. They all came to the same conclusion: it should be Krishna who should be worshipped. And this is what is mentioned. Arjuna had heard repeatedly from Bhishma and others during the Rajsuya sacrifice of Yudhishthira, Krishna alone is the cause of creation and submergence of all the worlds. This is Ramanujacharya's writing. And when Krishna himself speak about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. Now what happens is, Krishna says, I am God. Now one may say, why are you so proud about you? Like for an example, say you have a bigger qualification, like I'm giving interviews, so when people ask, speak about yourself, for that's the first question they ask. Then I give my whole 5-7 minutes of speech where I talk about I was a Google conference speaker, I was this, I was that, I was that. Wow. Now one may say, why are you boasting yourself? Yeah, I'm not boasting myself. I'm just, you asked me about me and I'm talking about what is my background. I didn't come here and this is the most important point. Krishna is not talking about him that I am the supreme personality of Godhead. Arjuna is asking, my dear Lord, can you tell me? You are saying, where is this transcendental knowledge coming from? Krishna, you know what? I only give to, you give, how did you give that? You know what? I also give because for you, it's just this birth you remember, next birth you don't remember, but I remember everything. Are you getting my point? It's not out of pride he's talking that I am God. If someone is prime minister, if he's saying a prime minister, not that he's being proud to say prime minister, which is an aspect. So one should, devotees undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of transcendental position of Krishna. So devotees heartily welcome Krishna's statement and worship them because they are eager to know more and more about Krishna. You all are with me so far? Can I go to the next slide? So is Krishna, Lord knows the truth about himself, but others do not. Therefore, from the lotus of the Lord, Krishna is talking. And thus, when the Lord speaks of his own glories, he should not be criticized as is displaying conceit. So I'll move to the next slide. So, what all is Arjuna asking Ramanujacharya? The way in which Sri Krishna answers Arjuna's question justifies the constructing of question in this way. Is his birth who is supreme? Like I said, he doesn't take birth. Is he knowledgeable? He's all knowledgeable. True to his vow, the same nature as that of the gods, men, etc., who are subject to karma. What you see on the right hand side is picture. This is Kalia. Krishna danced on hoops of Kalia. Even he poisoned the whole Yamuna lake. Not only that, even the birds who could fly over that will die. That was the poison. Beautiful actually to understand from that perspective. So is the birth of Supreme Being as incarnate or real fact or mere illusory phenomena produced by magician art? We are tiny jivas. We have a tiny birth. And again, we can't remember what we did in previous life, what to talk about previous life. But that's not what Krishna's body. Our body have different organs. We have a liver, we have a kidney. Those are all material. And we know what happens when we get old. These same organs start giving trouble to us, right? I have my aunt who is going through dialysis almost every week, and she fell down the other day in the bathroom, and I realized how precarious is the condition of all of us. No idea. We are so helpless actually. Worst situation to be in. But Krishna's body is not like that. Krishna's body is not made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. His body is made of eternity. His body is made of knowledge. His body is made of bliss. And that's why nothing happens to him. So, what is the nature of his body? What is the manner of his birth? What is the nature of this body of his? What is the cause of his birth? To what end is he born? When you think about it, we understand he's beyond our understanding from that perspective. So move to the next slide, which is 4.5. I think we will cover that next week. We have 4.5 and 4.6 we will do together. Any comments or questions so far?
Just curious, is Arjuna or Krishna? Like the age when he was 6 year old.
Krishna.
Krishna
He's
is.
supposed to be dozen of
So when
children.
he
He's like a mama to.
Yeah,
Oh, mama.
he's Mama, correct. Exactly.
Much older than. I think his sister marries Arjuna, right?
Yeah. That
No,
is
um,
Krishna's sister is Mary Arjuna.
Okay.
Correct.
yeah.
That is Subhadra. So Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. Subhadra is a sister of that thing. And that is also a mysterious marriage which happens. Don't want to get into
I
that
know
part.
it's a very good actually.
Lot of things are
I think
beautiful.
the whole Mahabharata is like, human manipulation, human desires, human greed, human courage, everything bundled into that.
And nothing to do
Hundred.
with the
If
religion.
one,
You could actually
if
map
you
it to
read
any human.
Mahabharata and understand, you know exactly how the human life regularly went, and it is true no matter how many years, thousands and lakhs of years.
Very beautiful. Very interestingly, Bhagavad Gita is just one part of whole Mahabharata. It's amazing. And that was the crux, which is very important. So, just to summarize what we discussed and see if there are any questions. So, what we discuss is Arjuna is asking the questions. Krishna is first telling that this transcendental knowledge, what is the glory of this transcendental knowledge? He says this transcendental knowledge was given to Vivaswan first. And last week we discussed about how much is Lord Brahma's life and who is Vivaswan, and we talked about it. And second thing is what he talked about. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, I am giving you this knowledge. I'm giving you this knowledge because you are my devotee and you are my friend. And why am I speaking this knowledge again? Because over the time this got distorted. That's why I'm again coming and appearing. And why did I choose you? Because you are my devotee and friend. You can understand me from that perspective. And then Arjuna is asking the question, fourth verse, my dear Lord, you are 125. So how is that you spoke about the same Bhagavad Gita knowledge millions of years ahead? And that's what is coming in fifth and sixth, which we briefly discussed. Krishna is going to speak in fifth and sixth, explaining that, but we briefly covered the difference between Jiva and God. We gave few examples. We went into few stories. We gave example about Lord Ram. We gave example about Lord Krishna, where his gopas were stolen by Brahma. To actually prove it out, he is not an ordinary person. We also gave an example about Yashoda, who is opening the mouth of Krishna and seeing the whole universe within that. So these are the examples we covered. Any comments or questions?
I think the point where Krishna shows that whole Brahmanda
Yeah,
to
yeah. Huh.
not Yashoda.
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 Yeah.
It's basically saying that we all come from that astral body. We're all
Yes.
made
Yes.
of that astral body.
Correct.
And that's why they keep saying, find out inner self. You will find yourself inner.
Correct.
When you
100%.
go do the reflection. So basically, we're all formed with that elements of the universe. That's what we.
Krishna says, Aham bija pratapita. I am the seed giving father. We will read that verse few chapters down the line. And we all are part and parcel. Every like loving affection we have as a parent, as husband and wife, or any other relationship is all coming from Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. That possessiveness about, oh, this is my child, this is this, everything comes from Krishna. But to a certain extent, it is perverted. That's not the purpose of life. Purpose of life is to actually get together and join Krishna in the spiritual world, which can actually get us out of cycle of birth and death. So life is pretty complicated. One has to realize that better to get out and actually attain that beautiful abode of Lord Krishna. Wonderful. Any other comments? Thank you for bringing that point. Any other comments? All good?
Yeah, today when we went to one of the events, so son actually got into the medical
Very nice.
doctor. So when Saturday one, they all asked, where are the, why are you going now, right? We have, they have to leave, right?
Huh.
I said, I'm going to the data and data class, right? They asked, oh, it's easy to go to church and learn Bible, and we cannot understand. So then I started explaining to that currently 5,000 years back, it's not even Gita, even earlier than that, they used to sing and talk to people. Then, those days, normally human beings used to be very adept and they are very knowledgeable and they could understand that level. Slowly, the humans have come down easily with their head and skill all the way down now. That's why